I would like to reconvene the open session at 6:30 p.m. And we have no report of closed session per Government Code 54957.1. And on behalf of the board, I'd like to say we apologize for being a half hour late. We are so sorry, but we had some important business that needed to be discussed, and we hope you understand. With that, we are going to have a pledge of allegiance being led by the Dow 5th grade student, Eva Ramirez.
Stand up, everyone. Put your right hand on your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you,
Yes,
Eva.
good audio. Let's see if we can make this.
I would like to ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam President, I go to approve the agenda, but I would like to ask board members if the comment before we start the moment silence for the motion for the government.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Yes, if we, the Garden Market has been, the family owning that business has been a great supporter of our schools and just really great people. And their daughter passed away. So if we could just take a moment of silence.
I'll start it, you watch, and then you
Thank
can take
you,
over.
thank you very much.
This
Is there a
was the
second?
greatest.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion passes for approval agenda 5-0. 5-0. Staff reports. Student board member Natalie.
Board President is Ms. Natalie Rodriguez, student board member from University. She's at a wrestling match. But Ms. Sheffield would like to just read a couple of points from her report.
Okay, Natalie prepared a wonderful report tonight. I'll begin with Barbara Webster School. On December 3rd, Barbara Webster and Bedell hosted a Family Science Night. On December 10th, Barbara Webster hosted a play, the Three Piggy Opera. Bedell School, December 9th through 13th, is hosting a Penguin Patch fundraiser. Glen City School had trimester awards for grades K through 5, December 4th and 5th. Grace-Hill School on December 13th is having a Spirit Day, a Candy Cane Day, and Cookies with Santa on December 19th. December 12th, McKevitt 3rd grade will be visiting the Moxie Wolf Museum in Santa Barbara. And Eastern Middle School is hosting a canned food drive December 2nd through December 18th, and tomorrow is Isabel's Spelling Bee. Renaissance High School is also hosting a blood drive Friday, December 13th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Santa Paula High School next week is sponsoring a Stress Less Week in anticipation of finals, and they will have a puppy pregnancy on one of the days. Santa Paula High Band Variety Show will be December 13th, and the Santa Paula High School Band Winter Concert, December 19th.
Thank you, Mrs. Shepherdly, for stepping in and giving that report. Superintendent's report, Dr. Coro.
Thank you, President Reyes. I'd like to begin my report by thanking all students and district employees for their hard work in the first semester, which will end next week. I also want to pass on a special thank you to the 3 Santa Paula High School students who are sitting in the back. They're here in attendance. Jasmine, Miguel, Rodrigo, can you please stand? I'm recognizing them because they did a wonderful job of decorating the front of the guys here. So thank you. We also want to come from St. Paul High School Math teacher, Mr. Alex Flores, because he's the one who donated the poinsettias. On behalf of our Board of Trustees, students, and staff, we'd like to thank the former St. Paul Chief of Police Steve McLean for his leadership while serving the city of Santa Paula. We wish him the best of luck in his new position in Baldwin Park, and we also welcome the new interim chief, Matt Rodriguez. I attended the 2020 census meeting on Monday evening. Presenters shared the importance of the 2020 census and encouraged everyone to participate. Our district supports the efforts of the Ventura County Census Committee, and we will be providing 2 school sites to host information meetings for parents and community members. Another note I want to make is our district has provided training workshops that focus on equity and inclusiveness to more than 50 parents and over 70 employees, starting since last year. We offer support groups for students and staff for the Coalition of Family Harmony, and we continue to offer these services. The board and district staff will be attending several upcoming school events, including Friday evening's Variety Show at Santa Paula High School, the Isabel Winter Band Concert on Tuesday evening, and the Vidal Winter Program on Friday, December 20th, and parents can check their child's school website for start times and other planned events. As we approach next week, it's important for parents to know that all schools in our district will have a minimum day on Friday, December 20th. Both high schools will have minimum days on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to wrap up the semester. That's December 18th, 19th, and 20th. And that's some good news. The California dashboard is anticipated to be released this week. We also anticipate some positive results for our students, parents, and community. Overall, district indicators for English language arts and math and college and careers will improve, and our high school graduation rate continues to be strong. Most of our schools have also shown improvement. All in all, we have some areas to celebrate. In closing, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Now we have Superintendent Committee updates. Do we have any from Mrs. Colbeck or Mr. Luna or Mrs. Mead? Okay, so moving right along, we're making up time.
Good.
The best part of the meeting is recognition, and we're going to start with 5A Educator of the Month, Dr. Cole.
Thank you, President Urias. I'm going to keep my portion very short. I'm just going to turn it over to our Riddell Principal, Mr. Jeff Robinson.
Now we go to number 2.
Madam President, board members, members of the audience, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Rick Zavadil, the school counselor, as December's Employee of the Month. So Rick, you can join me up there. This honor is long overdue, and I'm pleased to be able to share with the board what an amazing asset Rick is to Vidal in the school district. So, making up for the delay, I'm going to take the next hour to go over his accomplishments.
Even though it's there, I can zoom out, but I'm not resetting it. So 2 will always go back to where I wanted to.
Every Vidal student knows Mr. Rick. Mr. Rick knows not only every Vidal student, but I think every parent by their first name. This amazing memory feat begins on day 1 of school and every day after. When Rick meets the students at the start of the day, checks with a parent who has had asked for support from Mr. Rick and their child. The bell rings. The students follow their teachers to the class, and Mr. Rick pulls out his trusty little scheduling book to plan his day. Yes, Mr. Rick is extremely organized and detail-oriented, but he always is keeping in the back of his mind that there may be a call for support. Mr. Rick, we have a choir in kindergarten. Mr. Rick, we have a runner. Mr. Rick, a teacher in 14 needs help with a student. Mr. Rick, this is Mr. Robinson. Could you please join us for a meeting? And he does every time without complaint. Even with the interruptions, he manages to find the time to see all of his students on his schedule for the day. I've already mentioned many of the things that Rick does throughout the day. I'd like to mention some of his other duties. We call them super duties, because we all know that Mr. Roy Zavadil is very interested in superheroes. Not only that, we think he's super is. He runs special small group sessions with some of our students to support them in dealing with the many social issues that come along with our families. Students who are affected with family separation, homelessness, family who are incarcerated, economic challenges. Rick maintains the school store, including the friendly buildings, so students can spend their well-deserved rewards. He meets weekly with his ambassadors, four of which we have tonight, who will hear later, with them at school. As if his school site duties are not enough, Rick is involved in district level committees like OPAC. He works closely with the other counselors in the district and the district counselors and psychologists. Over the last 2 years, Rick has done great support for students, teachers, and the implementation of our Ad Elementary program. He discusses college and career planning, coordinated visits to colleges, and as you will see later, helps them in the presentations. In his spare time, Mr. Rick is truly an asset to the community. He works regularly at the Juvenile Detention Center, donates countless pints of blood and platelets, and helps students in local community programs like the upcoming Christmas shop and activities with his local church. As you can clearly see, Fidel's Mr. Rick is truly deserving of this recognition.
For all that you do. Thank you.
Take a picture back there.
60 seconds. While working for City Impact, Bellingham asked if I would like to counsel groups that ensures E.P. Foster Elementary. I agreed, not knowing how it would go or how I would do. I absolutely loved it, and then I enrolled at Cal Lutheran to pursue my PPS. I wanted to positively impact as many lives as I could. Thank you, Jeff Robinson, for your constant support, wisdom, in acknowledging my projects, and counseling at the Dell. My philosophy is that every student is important, and my goal is to help validate, empower, and equip them for today and their future. Counseling to me is providing a safe place for each person to be genuine. When we are genuine, we begin to accept ourselves and our confidence grows. I acknowledge Peter Friend, who hired me the first day we met, the many principals, teachers, parents, and students I had partnered with. Martin Luther King Jr., who I share a birthday with, once said, if a man doesn't have something he would die for, he is not fit to live. Thank you, Dr. Core and the District Board for having this time to provide the opportunity to acknowledge those who put their best foot forward to support young lives and their families at San Paulo Unified School.
Always take a picture back there.
Mrs. Averdale's family, any family members come up real quick? Friend works.
Band members? Can the girls say that? Can the girls
This is all caught. Nice as if you people are asking questions as we go on.
And Mr. Robinson will stay up there and he will recognize the classified employee of the month for the Dow Elementary. Ms. Robinson.
Thank you. Vanessa, come on up. I am pleased to present Vidal's Classified Employee of the Month, Vanessa Chavez. Though she's only been working with the district since March of this year, Vanessa has shown herself to be not only a very efficient in her position as an instructional assistant in one of the special education classes. The classroom teacher that Vanessa works with, Mrs. Pixley, has told me on many occasions how much she appreciates Ms. Chavez's support in her classroom. Vanessa quickly found that challenging balance between mindfulness and keeping students on task while working with them in the classroom. On those challenging days when the regular classroom teacher may be out, Vanessa helps keep the students on task while the guest teacher prepares for the day. Outside of school, Vanessa boasts a 3.9 GPA as she continues to go to school full-time to complete her bachelor's degree. When finished, the decision will be going on to her teaching either psychology or possibly as a teacher. Maybe even convinced her as a special ed teacher, I don't know. Any spare time is spent with her 3-year-old daughter. Vanessa is truly an asset to Vidal. Vanessa, thank you so much.
I just wanted to say thank you to the board, Mr. Robinson, for presenting me this award. I truly appreciate it, and I am so grateful and proud to be working for the Santa Paula Unified School District. So thank you again.
Friends and family, come on up.
Order.
At this time, we're going to keep Mr. Robinson there. Each month, we recognize we have kind of a school, not kind of a school spotlight. Our school spotlight this month for December is Vidal Elementary School. So, Mr. Robinson, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much again for being able to present here. I'm not going to say much. I'm going to present it over to my lovely 4 ambassadors that Mr. Rick has as part of this group, and we'll walk you through this great presentation.
Madam President, School Board members and members of the audience, my name is Patrick. I'm here with April, Brooklyn, and Clara to talk to you about some of the recent avid elementary activities we are doing every day. This is our second year at Dallas Avid Elementary School. In 5th grade, we use our agendas and other organizational aids daily. This year, we also started using some of the workforce strategies to help us be better students. W stand for writing. We are learning different note-taking strategies and will soon start working on quick writes and peer evaluations. Items or sense inquiry, where our teacher will be using guided questions, Socratic sentiments, and different levels of thinking. C refers to collaboration, which we know is important to be successful in doing group projects. It will help us build the personal responsibility and trust, which will help us with doing good evaluations. O represents organization. We have been using Abbott organization activities since last year. We will become better readers by learning how to read deeper, take notes, and learn how to summarize a reading selection. This year we got to help Mr. Robinson put together the organizational mind.
Get them on the.
Mr. Robinson explained all of the parts of the binders to help the fourth graders become more organized. Inside the binder is an agenda where we can keep track of our assignments and write ourselves reminders about important things to remember what things we tell our parents. There is also a book to start complete work, a notebook to take notes, and a pencil pouch so we are always ready to go at school or home. We know that if we learn Abbott spending, we will be more successful in middle and high school and college. We have been working with Mr. Rick to learn about different career pathways and what classes may be required. This year we learned that there are 6 different pathways offered at the high school. Ag business, public safety, game design, robotics, patient care, and Human Services Academy. Some of those are fun. I bet they will need to use their every skills and all the time. I heard that the students that take Abbott classes have a good chance of getting accepted to college. Look how well the Santa Paula High School students did. I heard that too. I know that is a long way off, but it's fun to think about it. We'll be in the class of 2027!
I didn't go back to
Hard to believe, wow. Hard to believe 2027, but we gotta get them going early on it. So I'm gonna give the mic up to Mr. Rick for just a short little preview of some of the activities he's doing in person.
Good evening, everyone. So thank you, masters, for your wonderful presentation. You guys are great. Okay, so be proud of yourself. So one of the programs that I do is called College Career Fair, and we were actually going to have it on November 1st, but the fires thought otherwise. So we're actually rescheduled for January 17th. And we have 20 some professionals that are going to come, and most of them have already announced that they're going to come again for January 17th. So I would like to welcome you to come to the gala. It's actually at 1 o'clock on January 17th. It's a Friday, and the program begins with a 3rd and 4th graders will go through at 1:30, and at 2 o'clock the 5th graders will go through. And so what we did, and Dr. Coyle was a big help on this, is that we actually had the people that were coming to do a college career fair, which included 20-some professionals plus 4 colleges, but they're all going to come right now to and field questions from our students. So we're pretty excited about that. So Ed Black actually helped me put together the videos in the one stream, and I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just want to play snippets for you, beginning with Dr. Coyle.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ed Coyle, Superintendent of your Santa Paula High School District. On Friday, November 1st, you will have an opportunity to ask various professionals about their careers and local colleges about their programs. Now is the time for you to begin your journey towards your future. So please,
enjoy a few videos from professionals and colleges that will be attending your very own Goodell College and Career Fair.
And my professional create memories of my client, picture those magical moments for all the clients.
Health awareness to students of all ages to make sure that you feel safe in school. So,
college in culinary, firefight college because the students are awesome.
Fire calls, traffic collisions, technical rescues, and pretty much anytime anybody needs help.
Surgery.
And teachers are finding ways to innovate.
Hey, young ladies and gentlemen, my name is Clint Garman. I am the current mayor of Santa Paula, and I'm also the owner of Garman's Restaurant and Irish Pub. I have a passion for working with young people to make sure that they have every opportunity to succeed in their lives. I'm looking forward to talking with you and look forward to your future. Have a great day.
Also, we have the post for the military. How much?
So, transfer from CU to China Islands. Our top finding majors here are psychology, business, communication, health science, nursing. And my favorite part about our campus is the food, specifically pizza and coffee.
Engineering, math, computer science, art, and so much more. What I like about our campus is that it's located next to the beach and the students can ride their bike to class.
Along with our weather. I really enjoy looking at the atmosphere, our weather, and sharing this information with others.
So basically that was a video that the teachers would show to the students in order to get them ready for the college program. We'll be doing this again. We'll be doing it the first time. January 17th. So let's see the school board out there. And thank you so much.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that will be our program for tonight. Do you have any questions? All right, with that, we'll continue.
Thank you very much, Principal Robinson. That was very nice. At this time, we're going to take 5 to 7 minute break and resume about 5 after 7.
So we're going to go to.
Thank you.
Scene 3. Yep.
the speakers for public comments. I will, if you plan on taking your full 3 minutes, please know I'm going to hold you to it because we want to get through this. Not that we're going to be listening, but I'm just going to hold you to it, okay? So, public comments, members of the public that wish to address the board, must first complete speaker form. Speaker forms must be submitted no later than 5 minutes prior to the topic coming up for discussion on the agenda. When addressing the Board of Trustees, please stand and be recognized by the board president. State your full name and direct your comments to the entire board. Please limit remarks to 3 minutes for all presentations unless otherwise informed. In accordance with Education Code 35145.5, the board cannot enter into a formal discussion or make a decision on any matter not on the agenda for this meeting. So, I'm going to take these as they were given to me. The first name is Jeanette Ortega.
Speakers thing.
Sorry, I gotta keep this out of my mouth.
Talk into the mic.
My name is Jeanette Ortega. I have 2 children currently in Santa Paula United School District. I'm an 11th grader. An 11th grader and an 8th grader. I have been here many times before. My concerns are well known because I have come over here speaking to all of you with them. Sadly, I have this kept me from coming to the last 2 meetings. I add to my concerns. As you know, I've had problems with receiving the help I request from my son in 8th grade. His district employees, I have been dealing with not having with them not having their needs. Here's just a few examples. It's about student-teacher conferences. My son has 2 Fs in classes. I would think this would be a significant reason to have a conference, but no, I did not have a conference, but I was called by Ms. Fabio because my son checked his phone because of the time of the talk was broken. Luckily, I was in the parking lot, was able to go into the office. We fixed the things with the phone issues. He was given today's detention for non-compliance and having his phone this time. I was asked about conference. She answered the computer and phone message. We agreed to schedule and changing one of his classes. 2.5 weeks later, his classes was changed and he was given a work by his teacher, but I still had not had a scheduled conference. During the meeting, I had another issue. I've had previous
normally just leave this up here
SRO.
We are well aware of
the purpose. During this meeting with Ms. Fabiola, the door swung open. No knock, just swung open as I stepped in, proceeded to tower in the corner with his arms crossed. I looked at Ms. Fabiola and she explained he was not here for this. I took it as he was there in intimidation towards me, retaliation for talking to his superiors who had occurred previously with him. I had an issue with Mr. Briggs at Isabel. He was laughing at my concerns as if I was telling him a joke. I had asked Mr. Core to follow up with this. This was 2 months later. I still haven't had no follow-up. I asked you as a board, and I have had no follow-up for any of my issues with you. I've come almost a year now with many, many issues, and I have yet to have really anything resolved. I did get a lawyer, and I have had a scheduled meeting at the district, but unfortunately, fires, my sickness, and everything has not allowed me to do so. It's very expensive to have a lawyer to fix these problems. I really ask you guys as a board to put all the concerns that are brought to this board because nothing's happening. You sit there and you say yes, so it's going to be done, and nothing is done. No answers ever come.
Thank you, Mrs. Ortega. Juan Ojeda.
Good evening to all members, to everybody here present. My name is Juan Ojeda. I am part of different committees district-wide, and I'm here to advocate for the education of every single student. There are so many work that needs to be done, and I wanted to say that you board members are here for every education representing every single student in the community. We are not here for a community organization. We are here for every single student in our community. Mr. Cora, there is a lot of work to do. I was expecting something better from you. Surely, this needs to be done. And, you know, it takes courage to come here. We need board members to have the courage to encourage the principals to make a difference, and the principals to make the difference supporting the teachers, to have the courage to encourage them. We are done. That's not fair that our community, Latino community, be that way. English is my second language, and it's hard for me to express myself, but I'm talking from my heart. I don't have paper to talk from my heart, but I'm here for every single student, and of course for my daughters. We need more sports. We need more support for every single student, especially for those who are behind. It is time to do it. How are you planning to fix this problem? We don't want explanation, we want solution. It's hard for parents to come and show up and tell you their complaints. This happened to me, and I know how it feels to have a daughter left behind, and nobody support her. So I learned how to support her, to ask for help, to advocate for her. And I am not the only parent. There is a bunch of parents. We are a community who work hard. Sometimes both parents work, and we don't have time to go to the meetings. We don't have time to go to a conference. And there is no solutions. We have to find solutions today. We don't have to wait for the election day for you to be reelected and make comments. No, we want to see the difference today, not tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ojeda. Patricia Zavala.
Good evening, Board President, Board members, Dr. Cora, and members of the public. My name is Patricia Zavala, parent and a student at the district. I'm here tonight to address the board on safety for all students and accountability. It's often emphasized that student safety is a top priority for this district. However, when the decision to deny student access to all gender restrooms is made, that sense of safety, acceptance, inclusion is stripped away. This decision, the decision to deny access to a gender-neutral restroom, came from the Title IX coordinator for the district, the one person designated to ensure that the federal law that prohibits gender-based discrimination is upheld. Refusing access to a gender-neutral restroom is disturbing, repulsive, discriminatory, and illegal. Accountability. Someone needs to be held accountable. Dr. Cora, it is your duty as superintendent to hold the Title IX coordinator accountable. Board members and board president, it is your duty to hold Dr. Cora accountable. As a parent and member of the public, whom the board serves, I demand that accountability be addressed. Again, this is disturbing, repulsive, discriminatory, and illegal. Thank you, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Ms. Zavala. Jasmine Gomez.
My name is Jackson, and I was
further this cause, both on the junior and Santa Paula High School. I'm here to express my ideas related to the importance of gender-neutral restroom. This gender-neutral restroom should, of course, not replace any of the restrooms we already have. It is to resolve the issues with gender non-conforming people. It is significant to have gender-neutral restrooms, most specifically a one-stall restroom, to make it accessible for those in the LGBT community, particularly trans people or gender non-conformists. For those who suffer from gender dysphoria, they experience discomfort when it comes to going to the restroom that corresponds to their biological gender. Also, they feel afraid of harassment by other people using the restrooms because of the outer appearance. This has led to serious kidney and bladder infections because they would rather avoid going to the restroom altogether. Not only will a gender-neutral restroom fix that issue, but it will also resolve the issue of the majority of the students feeling uncomfortable having an LGBT student in the same restroom. With that being said, both parties should be satisfied. Everyone should have access to the single-stall bathroom, especially to also benefit students with anxiety and those being bullied. The restroom should be a safe place for everyone to go, not avoid. Avoiding it can only lead to potential health problems such as kidney and bladder infections, and no parent wishes their child to have that issue. As for you all to take this under take this under consideration. Thank you.
Rodrigo Santiago.
Good evening, every board members, and good evening, everyone. My name is Rodrigo Santiago. I am with CAUSE, and I am a junior at Santa Paula High School. I am here to recommend the need of gender-neutral restrooms at schools. I think we need gender-neutral restrooms at schools because it gives a chance to the people who are uncomfortable using the boys or girls restroom due to the fact they feel violated or they feel unsafe because of bullying. Some issues that I have experienced is that there are no restrooms at schools specifically made for gender neutrals or any transgender. For example, I have a friend named Adam, and I asked him a question, where does he use to use the restroom? And he says that he has to go to the office and ask to use the adult restroom. And I asked him why, and he says that he doesn't feel safe in the boys' restroom or the girls' restroom. Because he told me once that he was harassed and violated of sexual discrimination. And I asked him how would you feel if he added gender neutral restrooms. He said that he would really appreciate it a lot, and it would give him a chance to give his own privacy. If we added gender neutral restrooms, this can have a great impact because people who are transgender or transitioning right now can have a place to have their privacy and would appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Miguel Sanchez.
Good evening, board members. My name is Miguel Sanchez, and I'm here with CAUSE. I am a sophomore at Santa Paula High. I am here to talk about the need for gender neutral restrooms at school. This will be a positive impact for most students at school because they will make students feel more comfortable going to the restrooms because, for one, they will have no trouble encountering people in the restrooms who are using the restrooms. And they have to wait long periods of time for students who don't use the restroom properly. Many students who go to the restrooms down to students bathing or doing drugs, which makes them feel more comfortable being there. The students who go to the restroom just bathe and use drugs taking a long time and hopefully doing their part. Therefore, people who actually need to go from doing the business simply because they use stalls to hide themselves, using the pens and bathing as well as other throughout the products. The students who actually need to go to restrooms will extremely appreciate the fact of having gender neutral restroom, especially one-star restroom. It will apply to all trans and non-transgender students because everyone deserves the right to go to the restroom where they are comfortable going with no problem at all. Most importantly, a restroom where they will feel safe. Restrooms are for students to use for their necessity and not to avoid. I have encountered many people who do not want to go to restrooms simply because many people who don't even use restrooms are there, which makes it feel uncomfortable. As I recently spoke to a teacher due to agree in the idea as to having gender neutral restrooms because they also notice the hard time students have in going to restrooms and having a comfort being around other students in the restroom. It is for these reasons to why gender neutral restrooms are needed at schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Kate Inglis?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, board, for hearing my comment. My name is Kate English, and I'm the director of One Step Alaves, which is a teen program in Fillmore. Based in Fillmore, but we have programming in Santa Paula and in Fillmore. I'm a 20-year Santa Paula resident, and I used to be a Santa Paula Unified parent. I had my foster son, and he attended Graceville. I'm with Kevin. And I'm here today with my organization and Youth for My Organization and a couple other of our community partner organizations to just be a kind of a show of force for our transgender students because they're, it's estimated that trans people are between 0.3 and 1% of the population. And we know that in the past, trans people really didn't feel safe coming out when they were children. They waited to come out until adulthood. But we're in the middle of a really a civil rights movement for transgender people. And so I really appreciate the work that the district has been doing to get folks trained in cultural sensitivity. I just want to encourage much more of this, especially with a focus on our trans youth, because transgender identities, if you don't have someone in your life who's transgender, it is a learning curve. And our teachers, our front office staff, our counselors, every person who interacts with the youth needs to have some training in this area. And more and more of our youth are going to come out at younger and younger ages because it's many trans people know they're trans when they're 4 or 5. They just don't have a language for it. But now they do exist. There's just so much more visibility. So expect more and more folks to be coming out and expect to be ready for more and more need for support of this community. I asked one youth in preparation for this comment today, because I work with high school students mostly, and I was asking my Santa Paula high school students, like, well, what happens at the Santa Paula high school? Like, what happens if you have to go to the bathroom? And they said, well, there are all gender bathrooms at the high school level now, but they're locked. And I said, oh, they're locked? Yeah, we had to ask the teacher for the key. I said, are you sure? And they said, I tried the door, and they were like, no, so I don't know if they're locked or not. It used to be the teacher bathrooms, and some of the students feel like there might even be teachers feeling weird about the students wanting to use those bathrooms. I don't know the culture around the bathrooms yet, but we need a culture where anyone who needs to use a bathroom can use a bathroom without thinking about it. I drove straight from LA here, and I had to stop and use the bathroom, and I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to worry. I was in a hurry. I ran in the women's bathroom in the Kaiser building, and then I got back in my car and drove straight here. And it didn't even occur to me until I was sitting here that if I was trans, that might have been a much different situation. So just putting ourselves in their shoes, thinking about that. I asked one student, well, what do you do at school? Do you go to the bathroom? He said, I just don't go to the bathroom at school. I said, what if you really had to go? No, I don't go to the bathroom at school. What if you really had to go? I don't go to the bathroom at school. So that's the reality for our trans youth, and I just wanted to tell those stories so that we can all get together to support them. And One Step is always here for you. We do free cultural competency trainings. If anybody wants them, we will do that for you.
The organization One Step.
You're based in Fillmore, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have a program of LPC support group here in Santa Paula.
Okay, Al Reese.
So, my name is Al. I'm a senior at Santa Paula High School, and I'm just here to talk about gender neutral bathrooms in my experience. So, as a non-binary person, it makes it difficult to use a bathroom, especially when like most people aren't really comfortable there, and it makes it just difficult to like choose. But not only that, it's really uncomfortable, and it's like you just have to like either suck it up or just not go at all. And then there are gender neutral bathrooms, but from what I was told 2 years ago was I'm allowed to use them, but I have to ask for permission. But also the locks were supposed to be removed. None of these things makes sense because to me it's a public school, so I should have public access to the bathrooms. But not only that, I just feel like I would like to. And I shouldn't have to tell the school or staff my gender identity, just use a bathroom that I'm more comfortable with, because those teachers don't have to use the bathroom to feel comfortable. And it's just a real concern for other youth, because it's like, imagine how I feel, imagine how other people feel, because they either might feel just as bad or not that bad. And it just depends on just everything. But I just really want to see a big change for our school, because I know it's difficult at times, but like, you guys have just done so much for our community already, and just try to help us. But like, I want to see a little bit more, just so we can prevent other issues in the future for kids and just you guys. Because the more we just try to avoid these issues, the less problems we're gonna have with parents and students and teachers. And then the more this community become more loving and more caring towards our community, because at the end of the day, we're just all human and we all have feelings. So I think we just need to acknowledge those feelings and then do everything that we need to do ahead of time. That's
Thank you, Elise. Joseph Summers.
Good evening. My name is Joseph Summers. I'm here representing the Diversity Collective in Ventura County, which is an LGBTQ organization, nonprofit based in the city of Ventura. I want to thank the governing board for allowing this opportunity for me to speak, and thank you for the work that you do. Diversity Collective Ventura County has a mission to advocate and educate for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community, and our allies. We do this work around physical and mental health. When a parent like Patricia Zavala or any parent or student reaches out to us for resources or advocacy, it's our responsibility to show up for them. I am here tonight to commend this district's ongoing work with Dr. Sandy Gomez from the Coalition for Family Harmony, and your work to create a more LGBTQ inclusive and affirming environment and climate in your schools here in the district. I want to speak tonight specifically about the importance of every child, regardless of their LGBTQ identity, needing to feel safe while using the restroom. But especially because of their LGBTQ identity and especially because of their trans identity. Many youth, out of fear of being mistreated physically or emotionally for a variety of reasons, avoid using restrooms at school. Consequences may be severe, impacting a child's mental and physical health, which impacts their ability to learn and to thrive in our schools. As the Santa Paula School District continues its work around providing affirming and inclusive learning spaces, or create and or implement policy, or it navigates national laws that like Title IX, or state laws like AB 1266, that provide for LGBTQ students in regards to using public restrooms in our schools that align with their gender identity and or private restrooms when requested. It is also the responsibility for organizations like Diversity Collective, One Step All of Us, and the Coalition for Family Harmony to show up for you. I invite you to continue to use us, your resources, because when we create affirming and inclusive spaces for what may seem like one or a few students, we are actually creating affirming and inclusive spaces for all students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Summers. Marv King.
Good evening, Board President, Superintendent, Board members. I'm with the Ventura County Civic Alliance. My name is Marv King. If you haven't heard of the Civic Alliance, we are a civic engagement organization that's designed around the 3 E's. The 3 E's being economy, environment, and social equity. Every 2 years, we produce the State of the Region report. I'm here to present the State of the Region report to the board members. They're back here. They haven't been passed out already, so we don't personal copy of the report. What I call this is the coffee table book for Ventura County. If you look at the domains we cover, everything from safety to to education, to water use, even the impact on the fires this year. There's a new part of the report. It's something to look at, and you want to talk about these particular subjects and have data in front of you. So it's an important item. You come up every 2 years for this item, and if you do not get one, you can download it from our website, which is called civicalliance.org. So if you have any questions, I'll have my contact information back with your board, and feel free to contact us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. And that concludes our public comments, and I'd like to thank everybody for respecting the 3-minute time limit. So we can move right along. Good night, and have a safe ride home. Okay, presentations. We will have an air conditioning update. Dr. Cora.
Thank you, President Reyes. We have our, I'm trying to think of your title. Facilities and Construction Manager, Mr. Doug Henning, here this evening to provide us an update. Apologizing, Mr. Henning, but I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Henning to the presentation to give us an update on where we're at.
All right. Good evening, Board, Assistant Superintendents, Dr. Cora, Superintendent. I'm here to provide, and thanks for somebody for laughing. I'm here to provide, hopefully, a quick update on air conditioning. So let's try to get this going. Not here, I didn't. So we're going to talk about a little bit of background information and some of the work that's already happened, some of the work that's in progress, some of the money we've already spent, and some of the next steps. Okay, so as you guys probably know, we had some condenser-ready campuses that were identified last year. Condenser-ready meaning schools that had already had a lot of the infrastructure put into place in a previous, actually as a result of the previous bond many years ago. So a lot of the electrical was already in place. The electrical had been upgraded to some extent at these schools, and some of the heating units already had coils on them, which is what allows them to also condition when they're placed adjacent to a condenser. So yada, yada, yada. We had 4 schools that were ready for air conditioning. Those 4 schools were Blanchard, Glen City, I should probably know this, Grace Still, and Barbara Webster. And so a couple of board authorizations were given in 2018 to proceed with putting in air conditioning at those 4 condenser-ready campuses. Additionally, we had authorizations given for designing electrical upgrades at Bedell and Santa Paula High School. And later on, we had another authorization for actually bidding out those projects. So we continue on. So the old news is we finished the air conditioning at the classrooms at those 4 condenser-ready campuses. So the numbers are there. Works out to 67 units. 65 of those are classrooms, and the other 2 spots are classroom-type spaces like the Blanchard Library and the workroom at Grace Still. We also were able to shift around some of the window units that had previously been installed in classrooms and move them into smaller spaces such as administration offices. And over Webster, we stuck one in the counselor's office, so that was kind of a nice little bonus scope we were able to throw in. And we also did upgrade the transformers at those 4 sites to just make sure that we had the correct oomph to power up the units at those 4 sites. So those 4 schools, classrooms are complete. Of course, those 4 schools joined Renaissance. So 5 out of the 9 schools in the district have air conditioning completed. So this is what's going on next. Bedell Elementary School. We are going to be doing a service upgrade there because their power was insufficient. The service upgrade is actually 2,000 amp. Apologies for my error there. It's not 1,200 amps. Moral of the story is that's going to give the campus sufficient power not only for putting in air conditioning for the present building, but if there was ever a future expansion, say an MPR, the service would be large enough for that as well. This project went out to bid recently and was awarded, actually just at the last board meeting. The construction project is going to start a little bit here over Christmas break, but really it's going to be primarily a summer project. We plan to have the completion done August of 2020. So another project that we have in the works right now is Santa Paula High School. Sorry, I overclicked. I overclicked again. Okay, so we are also presently in the design phase for Santa Paula High School. It's a big place and it's a little bit convoluted. As recently as 2012, we had 16 meters at that campus, which is way too many. So we've been in the process over the last several years of trying to consolidate our meters. We were able to get rid of 5 of them when we built the science and technology buildings. And now, as a result of this upcoming service upgrade, we're going to add 1 meter and get rid of 7, so it'll be -6, which is good math. Obviously, we pay a fixed fee for every meter, so to have less meters is going to be a good thing. Not to mention, we're going to have a more efficient service to provide all the air conditioning needs for the campus. The design is in progress. It's getting close to complete. Actually, just walked with the electrical engineer on campus for over 3 hours yesterday, trying to button up the plans. So after they button up the plans, we'll hire a structural engineer. Same thing we did at the Dell, so that they can actually take the project to DSA. We'll go through DSA, we'll get the plans approved, we'll go to bid, and ultimately you can see their tentative construction schedule of 2021 for trying to do that project over at Santa Paula High School. A little bit about the money. Looks like we spent about, that adds up to just shy of $457,000. Most of that obviously has gone to the condenser-ready campuses. So over 90% of that so far has been from Measure 2, Measure P, excuse me, which is Fund 213, and the rest of it has come out of Measure Q, which is the high school bond. So that's how much money we've spent so far. And now for the most exciting part. Any of this is actually exciting. In the on-deck circle is the Dell HVAC design. So the Dell is not quite as simple as some of the other elementary schools where, like, Glen City is a good example. We kind of have a classic front, a classic back, and we're able to stick the condensers out the back. Well, the Dell's 4-sided buildings, walkways on all 4 sides, not really a great spot that says, hey, stick an air conditioner here. So it sort of begs a professional design, probably going to involve mounting the air conditioners on the roof. Anytime you mount something on the roof, there's probably going to be structural upgrades. And so we're going to need to involve a design team. Presently, we're in the process of procuring some quotes from mechanical engineers to design the HVAC improvements at the Dell. Similarly, we'll need to do the same thing at Santa Paula High School. Obviously, a lot of different varying conditions at that site between all the different types of buildings, the 100s, 200s, 300s and 400s, the gyms, the auditorium, a lot of different things to figure out over there. So when we get further along in the way with the electrical upgrade, we'll then start to move forward with the HVAC design. So the timeline for the Dell, again, upgrading the power 2020, hopefully also starting concurrently the mechanical design so that we can start mechanical improvements probably the next year. Santa Paula High School, same thing, another year beyond, electrical upgrade likely 2021, and then hopefully starting our HVAC improvements at that site in the years to follow, probably 22 and 23. I think that's it. Anybody have any questions?
I have a question about Santa Paula High School, just because that's where I worked. Is it going to be easier to air condition the 400s and then the classrooms up by the FFA room? Those newer classrooms, will those? I feel like the 400s for sure would be a lot easier because they're all vented and everything.
It should be a little bit easier. They do have platforms that are already constructed on the roofs, so any of the roof mounting that might need to happen, our predecessors have framed that in, so hopefully when we go to do that design, those platforms are still considered to be adequate up to the new standards, but yes, in theory, the 300s and 400s should be easier than the older portions of campus.
So maybe they can do that a little bit sooner.
It's possible. It's kind of like the other stuff. If we have low-hanging fruit compared to the rest, we'll probably want to start there and tackle the easiest stuff first and get it done.
I like the whole low-hanging fruit idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Our construction facility manager.
Okay, going on to information items. 8A, Santa Paula Federation of Teachers intent to negotiate. Dr. Cora?
Thank you, President Rios. The Santa Paula Federation of Teachers, SPFT, has sunshine the proposal, and what that basically means is they have given us a list of items that they would like to be negotiating with, and the bishop will be back in January about the proposal. Any questions from the board on the sunshine item?
Okay, 8B, report of collected and expended developer fees 2018-19. Dr. Cora?
Yes, I'm going to turn this over to our Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, Mr. Stachewski.
Okay. This is a report you should receive every December. It's a requirement that we report after the close of the books from the prior year within 180 days, the revenues and expenditures from developer fees. So before you have the 18-19 total revenues and expenditures received from developer fees broken out between residential, commercial, and also money received from our mitigation agreement with the East Area 1 or Harvest Luminaire project. Those total approximately $2 million in revenues received, and we expended some of those dollars out last year. The board might remember that they approved the purchase of 4 existing portables that we had been renting for a number of years. It was determined that it was cost effective to go ahead and purchase them at that point. So that's included there. We have ongoing consulting fees as we deal with the new development and the mitigation agreement associated with the new development. And then, of course, architectural fees for that project as well. So you can see the total expenses last year were just under $190,000, leaving that particular fund with $1.8 million coming into the new fiscal year. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, going into action items. 9A, is there a motion to approve the donations? I second it. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0 for acceptance of the donations. As always, thank you very much for each and every donation that we receive.
President, I'm just going to quickly say kudos to the Glen City PTA for raising $22,000 towards the fee. Thanks, awesome.
Okay, B, proposed new course for spring semester. Motion to approve? So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
I'd just like to say how excited I am that this is happening, going to hearing the choir back to school night, and then just last Sunday when they did their beautiful singing at the Presbyterian Church. It was just gorgeous, and I think it's about time they've shown their interest, they followed through, and I'm thrilled to back this.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes 5-0 for performance choir. New course for spring semester. C, Resolution 2019-2007-2020 Census Partnership. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve amendment C.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. D, revised classified management and classified confidential salary schedules. Motion to approve, corrections, motion to approve. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve D.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Discussion. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. 5E, contract with Ryland School Business. Is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve E.
Second. Discussion?
Mr. Cora, can you probably state what the contract with Ryland School Business is that we're asking questions on? What is the business office supposed to do that?
Yes, in paragraph 2 it talks about they'll provide general financial planning and business services, and it will cover training, budget development, financial strategies, analysis related to growth and decline. As you know, we're declining enrollment and we're declining budget. We're hoping for some outside eyes to come in and take a look at everything we have going on. Again, declining enrollment, declining budget, we need some outside eyes to take a look at information.
Is this in any way how to leave some of the work, or is it going to cost more what the
No, as a matter of fact, I would love for my assistant Sue's possibly to answer, but it's to give them some relief. It's a lot of work that we're already doing, and to again have the outside eyes come in and take a look at all those different areas in that second paragraph. That's I think it's critical for our staff.
And then I'm going to ask one more question. Since you talked about with that low enrollment and other stuff that you have going on, will this person also address potential programs we want to agree as well as we discussed?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we're looking to have Ms. Terry Ryland come in and do a presentation to the board the January 15th board meeting.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor of 9E say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. 9M, establish 2 new instructional assistants severely disabled position at Blanchard, 5.75 hours per day. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. 9G, establish 1 new instructional assistant severely disabled position at McKevitt, 5.5 hours per day. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. H, establish 1 new instructional assistant severely disabled position at McKevitt, 5.75 hours per day. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. I, establish 1 new instructional assistant severely disabled position at Webster, 5.5 hours per day. Is there a motion to approve? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. J, California School Board Association Delegate Assembly, call for nominations. Is there a is there a motion to approve? I'll move to approve. Is there a second? Second. Discussion. Is there anybody on this board who's interested in becoming a delegate to CSBA? Okay, so we won't be submitting any nominations. So all those in favor of the motion say aye. 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 All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. K. Memorandum of Understanding with Just Communities to provide interpreter training. Is there a motion to approve? So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
The employees that will be getting this training, have we considered their job descriptions then changed that they are now designated as interpreters, so they have to, if they're asked to go to a school and say after the normal hours, will they be able to say no because they're not gonna have, we had all these same issues in the elementary, and I just wanna know if all of those have been considered and the job descriptions are really being changed.
The job descriptions have not been changed, and that's something that we are concerned about. The individuals who are being trained are all those who are receiving a stipend for passing bilingual tests at some point. But right now, they just have to interpret during their work hours.
So they're working towards their certification, which my understanding is we need for public meetings, that they have to be certified. Is this going to lead to them being certified?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I see some staff that are perhaps, let's get a motion on it, and then maybe staff can bring information at the next meeting. I see you shaking your heads. So, is there any, let's go ahead and vote on this memorandum of understanding with Just Communities. All those in favor? Aye. Is there something more you want to add, Mrs. Polo?
I just really think that I think the training's great and we need that, but I really think we need to nail down the responsibility of those that have been designated and what is and isn't considered part of their work. Responsibility.
Do we want to pull this item to get further clarification?
No, they need the training, it's just that.
Mrs. Shepherd?
If I could just offer a bit of clarification. In order to comply with federal Title VI regulations, states that any individual who interprets or translates for any formal meeting that a school district might offer, it might be a school board meeting, parent conferences, any formal meeting like that, that interpreters, one, must be qualified. And the district is able to determine what qualified means. In our case here, these individuals have passed a district test, which qualifies them. In addition to be qualified, we also have to provide training. Some of the areas are the ethics of interpretation, confidentiality, and a few other areas. So they do not necessarily have to be certified. What we need to be able to document and prove is, one, that they're qualified, and two, that they have received training. Qualification and training allows them to interpret for school events. So this training would allow us to be compliant with the regulations. So they've been doing the work. Now they are compliant by Title VI regs, or will be. In my opinion, that clarifies the motion. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item L, second reading and adoption revision to board policy 6146.1. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve L.
Second. Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Second reading and adoption of revision to board policy 3300. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Second. Discussion? Motion Motion, can I call for the vote? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right. Consent calendar. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? Cindy. Is there a second? I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor of the consent calendar A through I, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes for consent calendar. Here we go. Board member comments, requests. Mrs. Colbeck.
It's a great time of year with all the schools having programs and celebrations, but then also the students having some testing finals. So it's always fun to try and go through as many as possible. So it's great seeing the students, because we really do have a lot of talented students. However, I challenge the board as we approach the new year to really return our agenda to the focus that we've been elected to do. A number of parents have expressed a concern that many of our board agendas lack a plan on how to educate their students now. How are we providing interventions now? And we do get reports, you do this, but I just would like to make sure that as we move forward, that we focus on education. Our students deserve the best education we can give them, and that is our number one priority. Along with that, because of what is going on in our world, is that we have to provide a safe environment. So I would like to see more of what we're doing, or even letting the public know, because those are the two concerns. How are you going to educate our students, and how are you going to keep them safe? Mr. Luna?
Well, I just want to wish everyone, staff, students, board, superintendent, a very happy holidays, and I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. As for board member comments or requests, I would really like to follow up on how the crossing guard agreement's going, see where we're at on that, and then to address the public's concern regarding the safety of all students. Echo Ms. Colbeck's concern that we do serve all students, so that's what we need to look at. And that being said, include my comments.
Mrs. Lee. I'd just like to follow up on Mrs. Colbeck's comment about looking forward to all of the different activities that are happening the next 2 weeks. It's going to be a busy time and so many fun things, and we can't get to all of them, but we'll try and get to as many as possible. I'm looking forward to that. I'm so excited that the choir is now a class. Been looking forward to that for a long time. And I'd just like maybe to hear some feedback. We had a lot of eloquent speakers tonight on the neutral gender bathrooms, and I'd like to hear an update on what's actually happening and what we can do if it's not totally positive, or what we can do to make it better. There were some major concerns, and so I'd like just a report back on what actually is happening. Thank you. Mrs. Thompson.
Yes, I should have mentioned this before during the board committee members report, but when I went to the LCAP committee meeting last time, at the last meeting, the UCSB outreach people did a presentation. Both of them were former Santa Paula High School graduates and probably had gone through elementary and middle school here also. And I was just really impressed with what they're doing. They really seem to be making a difference on those campuses, and I want to give them a big attaboy, because the statistics were really great. I was going to tell you what they were, but I can't find them. They're somewhere in my pile of things but it was very impressive, and it was so great to have like young ladies that went through our school system back again, and I see that so much, and it's just really, it's wonderful. I wanted to just share with you that when I went to the CSBA conference last week, Ms. Mead and I both saw the most wonderful keynote speaker, Ron Sussman. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner and had an Academy Award documentary movie up for recognition, but we did not win. Anyway, it was probably in the last 40 years that I've been going to things like this, the best, I think, the best keynote speaker I've ever heard. It was absolutely astounding. He talked about his son who's autistic and how they worked with him, and they talked about the teaching environment and how important that all is. It was really just wonderful and inspirational. We laughed, we cried, and it was really great. So I hope it's called, what's the book and the movie are called Life Animated. And I would just recommend it to everybody. It's wonderful. It's very enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. I have 5 things, so bear with me. I'll try to be. Well, it is only 8 o'clock. First of all, I'd like to say that I had to leave California School Board Association annual conference early as I went to Latino Town Hall Awards night. And let me tell you, our school district was well represented, not only in the audience, but our recipients. May I start off with Robin Gillette, got the Educator of the Year award, well deserved, I must say. Mr. Montoya was a football coach. He got our football coach got the sports award. Mr. Maraza, a former administrator in our district, received the Community Raymond Garcia Humanitarian Award. Gibi Gomez, a former Santa Paula High School student, received an award. So there were many, many reasons to celebrate that night, and even though I had to leave early, I was there, and my husband had to get up at 3:30 in the morning. It's probably too much information, but we did have to leave early, and it was a delightful evening. And I even think Dr. Cora, he auctioned off a lunch with him, and we got quite a bit of money for that. So, so it was a successful night. Speaking of California School Board Association, I went to a safety session, and it was based on a high school that got a threat. It turned out to not be a credible threat, but they still gave all the information as to what to do during the threat, and what's just as important is when it's over. What do you do when it's over? How do you reunite parents, students? What do you say to the media? And what they also said that I thought was quite interesting was that whenever you do a new building or a building enhancement at your school, that you include law enforcement. That law enforcement's important for to have input in the event there is a threat. And that's something I don't think schools usually think of. I know I didn't. So it's something to give thought and share with Doug Henning that when we start doing that sort of thing, perhaps we want to get law enforcement involved. And being a delegate, I was part of Delegate Assembly. And in Delegate Assembly, we select our California School Board Association president and vice president and president-elect. And I want to tell you that our past president, she just finished, was a black female. Our new president is a Latina female. Our president-elect is an Asian female. And our vice president is a Latina female. So I'm just saying female power is ruling CSBA. I'm not going to be, I still like men, but that's just the way it is. And right now it's CSBA. It's our turn. It's our time. I'm sure you'll come back. And then Pacers. We, California School Board Association is looking at a PACER position for Ventura County, which will act as a liaison between the schools in Ventura County and the legislature. So we will have somebody who's working just for us to get bills passed that affect schools, like fair and full funding and career tech and special ed, all those things that we need assistance with. We are going to be hiring, or the state's going to be hiring, it's called the PACER. And there's some already distributed throughout California, but there will be one for Ventura County. We may have to share them with Santa Barbara, I'm not sure. But that is coming, and we're really looking forward to it. The PACERs that have been working throughout California, I understand from Delegate Assembly that they've really been making a difference in the districts that they're currently employed in. So we're looking forward to that. Oh, and just one more thing. As a shout out to this district, I would like to say that that we are taking interventions. All you had to do was come to, not all you had to do, but the LCAP meetings, the LCAP board meetings we've been having addressing the LCAP back in September and October. There was a wealth of information as to what our districts, what our principals are doing in each school. I know it was a little hard to follow, because there's a lot of information there, but I truly believe that we are addressing those concerns. We're not just talking about them, we're doing them every day. And that was indicated by the principals' presentations on those 2 days. So perhaps they could stream it, go back to streaming it on their computers, look at the board minutes if we have some regarding all those presentations that were done. I kept my information, and that's how I know those interventions are being addressed. And I think that has a lot to do with the LCAP meetings, with the board meetings regarding addressing LCAP. So thank you very much. And with that, we hope to see you on Monday for our organizational board meeting, which will be Monday, December 16th. And this board needs to adjourn to closed session per Government Code 54954.2 at the district office. Have a nice evening. Good night.